Okay. Yeah. Lady Wolf Pack on a whole nother level. Savage as they come, gang of female rebel. We got the sharpest claws, we got the whitest teeth. We coming for your lunch, but we only bring the heat.
Hey y'all, I'm Cassidy, the favorite daughter, obviously.
And I'm Kim, her mom, her match, and the real reason she turned out halfway decent.
Welcome to Mom's Favorite, the podcast where we laugh, vent, and overshare like it's our full-time job.
Yeah. And we're coming straight to you from Austin, Texas, where the queso's hot, the opinions are hotter, and we don't sugarcoat a damn thing.
You know, just think of us as Thelma and Louise, but only they're related and they have a podcast instead of a death wish.
So go ahead and pour yourself something strong, maybe a margarita, get a little snack.
Because here on Mom's Favorite, we got a lot to unpack. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. We wanted to wrap up April with an episode to honor Autism Acceptance Month.
That's right. So we wanted to spend some time talking about our life with Jake, my 25, actually almost 26-year-old son with autism.
Yeah, we just wanted to talk about what it's been like growing up with him, what we've all learned along the way, and how it's shaped us.
Cass, what I've learned is that it's Jake's world and we're just living in it.
Yeah, we are. Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, so autism. Where do I begin? Actually, I want to begin at the name. It used to be called Autism Acceptance.
It used to be Autism Awareness.
It used to be Autism Awareness.
Now it's Autism Acceptance.
And now it's Acceptance. Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
That's what I saw.
Okay, yes, because we are now aware of it.
Yeah, we're well aware.
We're well aware of it.
And we're accepting it.
And we are accepting it.
As should everybody.
Yeah. We're accepting it. Doesn't mean, just because we accept it doesn't mean we have to be real happy about it.
No.
At all times.
No.
So first, I think I want to say that the things that I'm going to talk about are my opinions and my feelings only.
Right.
And I don't want anyone to feel a certain way if they don't feel the way that I feel, or, you know, try not to judge me and my journey, because me and my journey is different than you and your journey. And so, you know, I know what we've experienced, what I've felt. And rather than just sit up here and say, you know, autism, what a gift, and our life has been a bunch of rose petals and fairy tales. It has not. And so I really would rather share the real reality of what autism is, the good and the bad. I'm not saying it's all been bad either. It's, you know, we certainly have had some wonderful experiences with Jake. And so I don't want it to seem like it's just a big woe is me, and certainly don't need anybody feeling I don't know, pity or
right
or anything like that. It's just I think what it is when you hear someone else's real story, you can really relate if you're listening and things in your life are not going real well. I mean,
I think people need to hear the real and the raw to know that that's okay.
Right.
Because, you know, anybody who's lived through things knows that it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
And so talking about it makes it, you know,
yeah. And some of the things are, you know, there are things that are you don't necessarily want people to know, and you don't, because they're not pleasant things. And so, but I think it's, you know, I'm not going to lay out, because, you know, Jake is a human being and I want to honor his journey and his autism, and not put his whole life out there.
Right.
But I do want to share some things about what autism acceptance is in our life.
Right. Yeah.
And where do we go from here? So the first thing I was going to talk about was, for some reason, I wanted to know now, what is autism now? Because
it has evolved for sure.
Yeah. And I guess I guess they now probably don't even call it autism.
Yeah,
they just call it ASD.
Yeah, autism spectrum disorder. And it is a spectrum that has gotten wider and wider and wider over the years, for sure.
Yeah. And I looked up on ChatGPT and I wanted to kind of get a definition of what it was.
I got on ChatGPT too.
Okay, what did yours say? Because for some reason mine, I can't even now find where it is.
It's a neurodevelopmental condition that affects how a person communicates, interacts socially, and processes sensory information. It's called a spectrum because it looks very different from person to person. That's just a little part of it.
Right. And they have 3 levels now, which is kind of a new thing. I guess it's a DSM thing.
Yeah, I know they've included a lot more like clinical symptoms in the DSM.
So they've got level 1, which is requires support, which would be basically, I guess, formerly known as high functioning autism.
Right. Or like Asperger's.
Mm-hmm. And then level 2 requires substantial support.
Mm-hmm.
And then level 3 requires very substantial support.
Very
how
descriptive.
Specific they are about these descriptions.
Super duper support.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would assume like level 3 would be nonverbal.
Right.
And probably
needs like 24/7.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And maybe even in some cases like more than 1-on-1, like 2-on-1 or something. Yeah. Because some of these people, once they grow up, one of these little adults grow up, they can need more than one person with them at a time. Yeah. So there's been like this movement, and I know you know about it, about recently, about autism. Is it a disability or a difference?
Well, I think it's a difference, but that doesn't mean it's not a disability in some part.
Disorder or different way of thinking?
I think different way of thinking. But that's not well understood by everybody else.
Yeah. Okay. Here is where I feel the word disorder comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Is more so the fact that a huge number of people on the spectrum have medical issues.
Yeah.
And
very true.
That are specific. The gut issues,
mm-hmm.
the gut brain barrier break, and the immune deficiencies, the autoimmune, and all
there's a lot of that kind of go hand in hand with autism for sure.
If it was just someone who had a different way of thinking, I could kind of probably get on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more than that, and it's in a whole lot of cases, it's a lot of medical issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so that
makes
it a disorder.
That's very true. And if you're like only speaking of or thinking of specifically the autism portion of it, I could see where people would be like, oh, it's a different way of thinking, but that's not the reality for a lot of
mm-hmm.
people with autism. So I guess that just kind of goes back to how every person's different.
Right.
You know? So I'm sure there are people that don't have like medical diseases along with, but
Right.
we hear a lot about people that do. So
Well, a lot of them have, issues with allergies, food allergies. I haven't really known.
loss.
I'm trying to even think if I've known any person with autism, of all the people I know with autism, that did not have medical issues along with it.
Yeah.
And so
I think that's definitely a majority.
So that, just leads into, what came first.
Yeah, it's true. It's like, would they still have these medical issues
Right.
without the autism?
Right. Exactly. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about our specific story about Jake and kind of our journey with, living with autism. I mean, 25 years ago, it wasn't as predominant as it is now. There wasn't that many. As a matter of fact, at that time, and that was in 2000, I had really I didn't know anybody with autism. I didn't know anyone with a child with autism. I had only heard of it through some movie, and it was like all I knew about it had to do with flapping your hands and spinning things. And I didn't know anything about it. Didn't know anything about it. And so when we had Jake was a pretty easy baby. He was pretty, I don't remember him being abnormally cranky. He developed normally. He ate normally. He always ate really good. I remember even
still
from
does.
baby, he ate everything you put in front of him. And developmentally, he was pretty on track. And he was very smiley and happy. I remember him being not just, to me, he was a typical baby.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything really different.
Yeah.
Until he wasn't talking.
Right.
He wasn't talking.
He was doing everything else.
He was doing everything else. He was walking.
Slow to
he
start
was
talking.
He just wasn't using any words. And looking back on it, now that I know all the signs, there were other things. But I just thought that was just kind of like ignoring, and then not responding to his name and things that you think that they're not listening or tuning you out kind of thing. Some of those things were there, but I didn't know. I just thought that's the kind of baby he was,
Yeah.
And so the pediatrician didn't seem any too worried about it. Even at 2, she wasn't worried about it.
Because it is true that boys tend to take a little bit longer to do most things. Talking, walking, potty training.
And he must have checked off all the other boxes. I mean, they're the professionals. And back then, I wasn't the person I am now at all.
Yeah, well, you didn't need to be.
And so, I listened to everything they told me. And they told me he's a healthy kid. And they almost sort of made it like my fault in a sense that, well, it's because you're doing everything for him, and he has a sister who's also doing everything for him, and or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was even more than that, because I remember, and I got to thinking, okay, well, maybe it's just because I'm a stay-home mom, and
you're
he's
not anticipating all his needs.
He's not getting enough socializing with other kids. And so we tried daycare. I took him to Stepping Stone, and that lasted one day. We were daycare dropouts. Like, give me back our diapers, we're leaving. Because and this is a sign back that something wasn't right, because he was abnormally terrified and abnormally not having the daycare. Every kid screams when the mom takes them to daycare the first few times. It just happens. And then 5 minutes later, they're fine.
Yeah.
He was not fine.
Mm-hmm.
He was not fine all day long. And so I'm like, there's no way I'm going to have him just sitting there underneath the table crying his eyes out, knitting an axe or something. So we are not coming back to this place. But then when like 3 rolled around and he still wasn't talking, then it started becoming an issue. And I started at that time becoming concerned about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, something's wrong. He's not talking. And this was early Google days, but I did like get on and Google 3-year-old not talking.
Yeah, got on your dial-up internet.
Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, what is popping up all over the place when you Google autism?
Mm-hmm.
And once I started kind of looking into it, I thought, oh,
this is something familiar.
This looks kind of like what we got going on here. Of course, then it took a long time to get him all signed up and, doing the early childhood interventions and everything. But, I don't remember there being any. He was still my sweet little baby, happy, nothing changed.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like any wave of grief. And I guess because I didn't know anything about autism really.
Yeah.
That I didn't know enough to even be scared.
Yeah. That's probably a good thing.
Or even to feel like any kind of a grief or anything, because I just thought,
he just needs some therapies.
Yeah. And you really feel no matter what it is with my child, we'll get through it. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll get through it and everything. So we did all the early childhood interventions and everything. And he did begin to use words and a lot of things got better once he started in and was able to like go to school and have a little bit more socializing, even though he really wasn't overly social back then. Not like he is now. Now he's really social.
I know.
But back then he was not social. And but it was really good for him. And he was at Kiker, so he had the best of helpers over there. And the principal over there, Lori Schneider, she really understood disabilities. I think she had like a brother that had a disability. And so she really advocated for kids with disabilities. And back then, you really did have to advocate a lot more than you do now. Now it's like, oh, here it is. And back then it was so much more difficult. And
now like, all the teachers have to get training. And I'm sure back then that definitely was not the case.
Oh, no, no. And I think that leads me to one of the issues that I feel like we faced is always trying to fit him in, always trying to make him fit in everywhere else. And of course that never happened. I mean, because you just can't do that. Jake does not fit in to any particular mold.
Yeah.
He needs his own thing. And so, but back then they didn't treat them that way.
Right.
Now they did inclusion where, you put him in, but putting him in a room full of typically developing kindergartners, I don't know if that was the best place to really have him. And then the alternative was to have him in completely isolated classes where he was only with special needs students and he was super smart. So it was kind of like
also not the best
he
place.
did not fit in.
Yeah.
He didn't fit in. And he had, everybody loved him. He was so sweet. And we made such amazing friendships and relationships with the teachers over there even now. I love those ladies so much, all of them. But then once we went to middle school, it all changed. Middle school's so much harder and more difficult. They really try to make them fit in.
Yeah.
Elementary, they're kind of trying to make them fit in.
Yeah.
By the time they get to middle school,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you got to fit in.
Yeah. And I know that Cannon has informed me that Grayski's the biggest middle school in AISD as far as like student population. And so I know they just have so many kids, and their like concern is these kids are about to go to high school and just knowing what is going to happen then. And so I think that's how they get so like, making them fit in, which doesn't work for a lot of kids.
And I think they should not scare the crap out of them by saying, we got to get you ready for high school, and we got to, they did that with Jake too. And, and it was always like, we've got to get him ready because they're not going to put up with that in high school.
Yeah. Well, they have to.
And I'm just like, okay.
Well, that's too damn bad. No.
And then that leads me into high school. And high school really was kind of the icing on the cake of everything, where there's just no way this just isn't going to work. And of course, then we had Pandas and Pans that all became involved, and then we had all the medical issues with all that. And so, I just hope that they're doing it better now. I feel like with every kid I meet that has some sort of spectrum disorder, that they've got to have some things in place now that are better than what we had available.
I think it's definitely better. I mean, you would expect that with like the growing knowledge of the spectrum and what works, what doesn't, what used to work, now doesn't. Now, like, we know better. And that's the case with like, all kinds of diseases and disorders. And
so now that they've pulled out these vouchers and some kids are now opting out. This would have been a dream for me, because had I been able to find a private school that could specialize, then that may have been a game changer for us. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, because even like with my kids, they're obviously definitely way more high functioning, but I can see how, as much as we love public school, it's not every kid learns the same way. And these teachers are in a classroom with 30 kids trying to teach them all the same material. And so they only have so much they can do and so much time they can devote to each kid. And so,
when you have to teach to the masses, I think that it makes it hard, because then all these individual learners they kind of get dropped by the wayside. And I think because autism, what comes along with it is a lot of behaviors and just quirks. And I think that it really shed a lot of, I don't know, I'm like, Jake was punished for, like, for example, for some reason he was obsessed with the fire alarm. And like, I don't know what it is. Okay, like I like Jake's brain too. Like, those things that are tempting, but that you just don't do it. Well, Jake has a harder time talking himself into not doing it. And so things like, I've walked by a fire alarm and thought, I feel like I want to pull that thing, just because it's sitting there saying, pull me,
Well, anything that says don't touch or don't pull, your brain is immediately like, I must do the thing.
I know. And so he got suspended at Bowie for pulling the fire alarm. And I feel like that's so
excessive.
I mean,
I agree.
Anyway.
It's not just some kid,
Right.
like some bad kid.
Right. But they have certain things that they call no tolerance policies. And they will not, no matter what it is, no matter what your excuse is, you're suspended if you pull the fire alarm.
Which is stupid because being suspended would teach him nothing.
Which is stupid because we used to pull the fire alarm all the time when we were in school. It was like, but anyway, but I feel like that he was always in trouble. And he kind of was always in trouble because they didn't really know how to manage anything.
Yeah.
And so he was always in trouble. And a lot of times he really didn't even know why he was in trouble, or he really didn't understand the whole concept of things. And so he really lost a lot of confidence, I think.
Yeah.
And he had a huge regression too in high school where he literally couldn't write his own name. He couldn't even do the most basic of things. And I mean, it was awful. It was like starting all over, to like reteaching him everything. And so that was kind of a trying time, but I think that we've always kind of taken autism as like, well, you have blonde hair and you have autism.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like it's not really, we haven't really treated it as, it's not an excuse. You don't get to do whatever you want to do and say, well, I have autism. Never. But it's not a crutch. You can't say, well,
I can't do this because I have autism.
right. And so it's a real hard line. It's a real hard place to be, but you don't want them to do these maladaptive behaviors, but yet sometimes they just cannot control them.
Right. Like it's something that
It's impulse control.
It's something that has to be considered more so than like you have blonde hair and you have brown hair. Like that's not going to change anything. But yeah, something that you wouldn't want to be a crutch or an excuse.
Right.
I think something that's, I mean, with Jake and my kids and probably a lot of kids, is you have to like learn how to like interact with them and like their quirks and how they best respond, like what works and what doesn't. And what's hard about school, especially high school, is that they get so many new teachers so frequently. And it's like just when these teachers are starting to like learn these kids and like how to talk to them, that works. And then they move on to the next, and it's like starting all over. And so these new teachers are like, this kid is crazy. What's wrong with this kid? And so like this past year, Cannon got to have the same history teacher as he had in 6th grade, which was really nice because he was like, I had Cannon last year. Like, I know how he is. I understand like why he does what he does.
Yes.
Which is always really nice, you know, rather than getting an email like, he did this. And then I'm having to like explain like, what?
Right.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Well, I love a teacher who will go out of their way to connect with the kid and learn their way of teaching and know that the bottom line is that I'm just trying to get this kid through this class and maybe he can walk out of here learning something and not hate school and hate all of his teachers.
Yeah.
And I can remember Larissa and having some issues with Hayden in middle school, and it was all over like really dumb stuff. It was like Hayden habitually would forget his pencil. Like every day. Like she said I would give him like a giant box of those pencils and then lo and behold he'd go into this class and not have a pencil.
Yeah. It's the same. The amount of times I've replenished his pencils, I don't know where they go. They get donated to the school. So you think they have plenty of pencils around.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so dumb.
But I mean, like the teacher like punished him and was like really rude about it and really, I think, like, kind of shamed him about it and
like, it's a
called the
pencil.
parent. And I mean, it's like, look, you're in charge of him when he's in your classroom. And if he's not bringing a pencil to class, maybe you should just have a box of pencils sitting there on your desk they can grab when they come in. I mean,
Yeah.
see, solve the problem. And I know that they're thinking longer term, like we're trying to teach them to be responsible.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, some of those kids in middle school, I don't think they're ready to learn to be responsible.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Yeah, you definitely have to adapt.
Yeah.
Adapt.
Because I swear, no matter even what consequence it was, he still would not remember to do. And it was like
No.
pulling teeth.
No. But
To tie it around his neck.
I was about to say, get a lanyard with a pencil holder and wear it around your neck.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, gotta adapt. I know. You're like,
So
there's kids out there doing drugs. Let's not get a kid in trouble for not bringing a pencil.
I know.
Okay.
I know. And, try to have a little bit of, I don't know,
Grace,
compassion and understanding that.
His brain does not every kid's brain is going to work.
So once Jake became was an adult, since he's been an adult, I sent him not long ago after he had a kind of a traumatic experience, and I sent him to speak with this counselor, and the first thing she said to me is that Jake has a lot of shame. And Cassidy, that cut me to the core.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Because that's not something he's ever made obvious.
Yeah. I mean, I hear him talking about regret.
Mm-hmm. Like after he's done something.
Yeah. But I don't ever did not realize how
he was holding on to that stuff.
Yeah. And how he started saying things to me like, I don't want to be autism anymore. I just want to be ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
Or I just want to be dyslexic. Or, he doesn't want that disability.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knows that that is the disability that causes his brain to not think things through clearly sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, and he knows the difference, and he doesn't like it a lot of times. Mm-hmm. He goes through phases of it too.
Yeah.
He's very cyclical, up and down.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think people with autism are just so funny. Like because he has no filter.
Yeah, no, they're true. They are truthful to a fault.
Oh, totally. Totally. I mean, remember that time I was singing that song, I'm so fancy. And then he said, no, you're not. No, you're not.
No, you're not. And also, stop singing.
You're not. He's so literal and so doesn't understand the non-literal.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a sense of humor about him. He always has. Even from being a young kid, he always had a sense of humor. But he doesn't sometimes know how to use it in the right place in the right time, maybe,
right.
or I don't
appropriate setting.
Yeah. But the thing about him too is what I love about him is he really honestly does not have a mean bone in his body. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have. Now he gets mad. Mm-hmm. He'll get mad about stuff, and then Katie bar the door, but he doesn't, he loves everybody.
Yeah.
And he doesn't think that there's anything bad in the world.
Yeah.
Or
I was going to say that. He doesn't think that there's bad people who would do bad things.
Right.
In the world.
Right. Except Hitler.
Yeah.
Or, historical. He knows about historical villains.
Yeah, he loves
and
those.
He's kind of obsessed a bit with historical villains, but and he loves him some presidents. Loved him some presidents. He's not political. He's no political affiliation.
He's a history buff.
He likes all of them. He's an equal opportunity presidential lover, but he just likes I think he likes the character of them. you know, president, vice president. I bet, honestly, if he sat down with us, he could probably tell us all of the presidents.
Oh, I don't doubt it for a second. If I ever have any questions about presidents, he's going to be the first person I ask.
Yeah, and he will quiz me. He'll say, when was Mary Pickford or somebody, I don't know, somebody's wife. I think it was Lincoln's wife. When was Lincoln's wife born? And I'm just like, I barely even keep track of when I was born.
Right.
He's so crazy about stuff like that. He asks a lot of questions and a lot of just rando questions that don't make any sense.
Yeah. And he has a hard time accepting, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, you really can't say, I don't know.
No. Because he'll say, yeah, you do know.
You do know. And sometimes he knows. And if you don't say the right answer, he might not he's not too happy about it sometimes. Yeah. Life is a big old quiz, honestly. But so one of the things that Shelly and I learned early on with our sons is that it was really important to create a network and get a village of people together that can help your family with your son or daughter or whoever, your loved one. And it was really the best advice ever, trying to line up people all through his life and getting him involved in different organizations and, creating this network of people that he can rely on, because guess what?
It takes a village.
And I'm not going to be here forever.
And just to have that much more knowledge of like resources and stuff that works, stuff that doesn't work. Someone's like, oh, we tried this.
Right.
And this happened, or.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody said one time, I just saw on the internet, somebody said, why are people listening to a bunch of parents that say, I think this was the vaccine debate, and they were saying, why do we listen to a bunch of parents? And I thought to myself,
I should be the first person you listen to.
If I want to know something about something, anything, I'm going to go to the people that live it.
Yeah, day to day.
Numero uno. And I'm not saying, and I don't, here's the thing, I don't think it has to be either or. I don't think you have to listen to only your doctor or only your this. I think you have to listen to everybody.
Yes.
And then you need to use your own brain.
What a concept.
I know. Use your own sense. And if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because only you know your child.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You know your situation. And there's I think with the internet, I love the fact that you can just go find out, ooh, how old is Dolly Parton? And you can just go look at it.
Yeah.
Google search. You can Google search anything. And I love that. I think I lived in a time where you definitely could not do that. You'd have to go to the library, and you'd have to go to the card catalog, and then you'd have to go look it up in a book somewhere. And I mean, I think it is so great to have so much knowledge, but also on the flip side of that, I will say there's so much misknowledge. And so, but you don't know which is which.
Yeah.
So you just have to be really, really, really careful.
Yeah.
You know,
where is it coming from? Is it credible? Does it feel right to you? Just consider everything. Consider everything.
And by golly, yes, listen to parents. If you get a diagnosis of autism, the first place you need to get on is a social media group or a group where there's a whole lot of parents sharing their information, because that's where you learn everything.
Yeah, and not only that, like I'm in an ADHD parents group, and the amount of times I've like read stuff that sounds like my kid to a T and felt like, oh, thank God. it's not just me
Right.
like messing up my kid. It's not just my kid. Like this is a thing.
Right.
So I think it's very helpful in that sense too.
Right.
Make you feel not alone and
For sure. So, I mean, you definitely have to do that. Get on and get with your people. That's what we did. We just created our little family of special needs people, and nobody gets you like your special needs friends. They get it. They know. They don't judge you. They just love you through it all. And we've been very fortunate in that we've been able to put together some amazing people and lifelong friends and family. And
yeah. I was going to say not only like in the early days a good group, but one that's like withstood the test of time and is still like such a strong network.
right. I mean, and people that didn't just work for me through the years because I paid them to work with my son. They're actually people that love us and care about us, and actually, talk to Jake on the phone and
they don't
do
even
things.
they don't have to call him, but they choose to.
Exactly. So we've done everything that we can do, I feel, with regard to prepping him for life. Now, with that being said, everything could fall apart tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a house of sticks.
House
and
of cards.
yes, and it is all carefully orchestrated and carefully managed and carefully done. And any given time, Jake gets sick, whatever, I don't know. There's many things that could happen to change things up. And so we try to prepare for things as much as we can, but you can't always prepare for everything that could happen. And one of the things that we, of course, have prepared for is we have everything situated if, like something were to happen to us, what would happen? I mean, we don't have, a play-by-play book like Shelly absolutely does have a play-by-play book. We don't quite have that down yet. I should work on that. But we have the financial part of it and the, just the general idea and stuff. But I think that kind of leads me to, who takes care of Jake when we're gone. And when I say takes care of, I don't mean who day to day takes care of him, and plans his day. I mean, who is going to be the person that is overseeing his life, because he will always need someone to oversee his life.
Yeah.
And I try not to think too much about it because it makes me scared. I don't want him thrown away, and I don't want him forgotten, and I don't want him. I could see how he very easily could wind up homeless, because most of the homeless people I see on the streets look kind of like my son, and they, talking to himself, and those are the things that he does. And if he didn't have me here saying, oh, hell no, that ain't happening, I'm scared about what would happen to him.
Well, I would never let him be homeless. First things first. Would I know exactly what to do? No.
Yeah.
But I think you have assembled your house of sticks, so you say. So, like, I don't know, like, so not easily in your sense, obviously, but in a sense that from like the outside looking in, I feel like I don't really know a lot of the details as far as like, what are the options? Like, what are you thinking? And so I think it's just, coming up with a playbook.
Yeah.
As you say.
Yeah, I mean, we do have. There is a book. There is a book you can put together that has basically a that has everything in there. They're doctors. They're this. They're that.
Yeah.
They're the fact that there's so many nuances. Like for you have to reapply for guardianship every year, and you have to
Yeah.
fill in your Social Security report every year, saying what you spent this money on. I mean, there's things that have to be done, but I mean, it's not rocket science. Of course, you're smart.
It's just the the little details that.
Yeah. But it's not the fact of that I'm sure someone could do it, but would anyone do it?
Mm-hmm.
Would anyone do that? Or would somebody just, he's just going to be one of those people that just gets, eaten up by the world or something?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me sad. I try not to think a whole lot about that far down the line, but of course it's not really that far anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm getting old.
Hardly. I mean, me and Dave love Jake. I feel very protective of him in the sense that I don't want like the other people in the world to not understand him. And as time has gone by, watching the way people interact with him, it has lessened a little bit in that I'm like, okay, there's good people in this world. And because, he just looks like a regular guy if you just see him, and I know there's people out there that don't understand. And so, I worry about that, but especially because he's so like trusting of everybody.
Right.
And it's hard to say like what the future will look like, like what will be going on in my life, what will be going on in Jake's life, what will he need at that point. And so, I mean, I am going to protect him and do whatever I need to do for him. And so is Dave. And I know that he has so many people that love him. And so I think it might take a group effort, but
absolutely, and that's why
as it doesn't currently.
And that's why I don't want it on like your shoulders. I mean, never from the time when I had Jake. This is just what I feel, but you can correct me. I put really very little of him on you through the years. Like, I really didn't. I mean, I'm not saying I never asked you to watch him, but I really didn't ask you very often. I really did not, because you really didn't want to. You were just on to yourself. And so you didn't want to be strapped.
Well, I was
with
like 14.
Yeah, you were like, I'm like, we're at the mall. You're like, I don't want to push that carriage. And then they're going to think it's my kid. You had an image to uphold, but
yes.
But anyway, no one I know that has other children wants their other children,
right?
And it doesn't have to be that way. And honestly, Jake doesn't want that either,
right?
Jake wants his independence and wants his life.
Yeah.
There needs to be somebody, maybe even more than one person at the helm.
Yeah.
And someone it needs to be someone with sense, which, cuts about half the people off the list. But
right.
And I was hoping that the boys would, kind of grow up a little bit, and as they grow up, they would kind of develop. It's hard to develop a relationship with Jake a lot of times because he can be a little butthead sometimes.
Yeah.
But I feel like Cannon gets Jake more than Shepherd does.
Definitely. They have a little bond, I think.
Yeah.
And they're just similar in the fact that like they're not about socializing. Well, I mean, Jake loves to socialize, but they'll just be happy enough to like sit next to each other and laugh about the same inappropriate thing.
Right.
Like Hitler.
Like Hitler. Like, just, okay. Yeah. Okay. He always gravitates towards the controversial.
Right.
Like, it can't be something like really like I don't know, like a giraffe.
Yeah, something everybody loves.
I don't know. It's got to be something just really obscurely inappropriate. So anyway, yeah, I am so fortunate because I do have you in the sense that I know that you think like I do
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, not always, but in a lot of ways you think the way that I do. And I know that in the grand scheme of things, whatever you have to do, and Dave too, y'all are gonna make sure that he's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, autism has been, a lot of times we make jokes about it and we say autism, the little songs about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I am going to still do, I want to do my Pandas and Pans episode because I want to go into talking about the other battle that we fight with him, which is Lyme disease.
Yeah.
And
I think that's like a huge,
it is a huge thing.
Huge thing.
It's a huge thing. And but I really want to talk about it because I'm hoping that maybe some other people can, because I'm new to the Lyme and the coconut.
Lime, coconut.
I'm new to the Lyme world. I mean, I'm not new to it, but I've been putting off learning anything about it because I've had to delve so much into the other stuff.
Yeah. And it's complicated.
Yeah, for sure. So, anyway, we love our autism community. I love so many of these kids. They're adults now. They're all friends of Jake's, friends of ours, friends of friends. So many people we know are on the spectrum. And I love them so much. I know that a lot of them that we know do have a lot of struggles, and I don't want to change anybody, but I just want life to be so much easier for them.
Yeah. That's
So
my
much
hope.
easier.
That's my hope too.
So, I mean, it should be easier for all of us, and life should be about fun and, being, not being all desecrated with these medical issues and, sensory issues and food issues and all these issues. And you don't have time to even be a kid or even be a young adult. So anyway, anything else you can think of autism related?
Put upon.
Remember
when Jake called autism put upon?
He did. Oh my gosh.
Just those little Jakeisms.
Put upon. And I asked, one time I asked my therapist, Kathy, I said, do you think like that I'm on the spectrum? Because,
the more I read about it, the more I'm like, I think everybody is a little bit.
And she said no. But I mean, really a lot of those things could be.
Even me, like, I'm like, I definitely have sensory processing disorder.
And you definitely have had the food part.
I think that's part of the sensory
that might have been part of it, yeah.
Because even like, I don't know, maybe it's like, it gets worse like with hormone changes. I mean, I know it does. That's probably why so many women like don't get diagnosed with things until they're like pregnant or perimenopausal. But
yeah.
even like when I take a shower, like the feeling of wet hair on my back, like the fastest I can get my hair off my back, Dave laughs at me. And I know.
The thing I hate is I hate lotion on my hands. Like if I want my hands to be lotion, but then I have to wash it off immediately because I don't like that feeling of like oily, greasy anything. I know it's crazy, right? All those little things, and you all of a sudden you figure out, oh my God, that's a disorder.
I know. And even still, I've never liked loud noises.
Oh, I know.
I do have very sensitive hearing.
I know. You
So.
did, and you used to put your hands over your ears.
I still do. That's scary movies. Dave laughs at me. So I'm like, I have to prepare for when it's going to be loud. Okay.
Well, I just want to say that we do have friends too that have loved ones, family members, their kids with profound autism. And profound autism is just a whole nother beast. It's very, very difficult life. And I know a lot of families that live in it, and God bless them. We're hopefully there are some things that actually can help with some of the things that I have friends that go through with their kids are self-injurious or just have some severe behaviors and where they're harming themselves or harming other people, and it's just so stressful and so hard for them. So not all autism is all
just quirks,
just quirky kid, and or not all of them have some secret gift or savant or whatever.
Yeah.
Although Jake used to have some pretty good savant skills, but I don't see him doing a lot of that stuff anymore. Like, remember when we would go down to the coast and he would draw the entire Circle C subdivision in the sand and every street, and then would even like try to write the addresses and all of the. Oh my God, it was so crazy.
I know. He has always been very good directionally.
Right.
As we're like, he'll never get lost.
No, he won't. He'll never get lost.
Not in Circle C anyway.
Nope. No. All right. Well, happy autism acceptance.
Because we're aware.
Because we're all aware of it.
Now we're moving on to acceptance.
And now we accept it. And we love everybody.
Yes, we do. And tune in next week because we're going to do a little special episode about George Strait.
I can't wait. Woohoo.
Yes, my mom's favorite, so.
Okay. Sounds fun. I can't wait.
Yes.
I love me some King George.
No, we're going to do like a little trivia to see how well you know.
Oh, I know.
I know you do.
I know. But can I remember? That's the question.
You can. It's deep. It's buried deep in there, I'm sure.
All right. Well, I love you, Cassidy. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for you. We love you so much, me and Jake and Egon and Delilah and Molly. We love you, and we're so thankful.
And Molly. Molly don't care. Well, I love all of you guys too. My little family.
All right. Well,
and we love our podcast family.
And we love our podcast
family. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We really love y'all. Thank y'all so much for listening in with us and through the ramblings of today, because it was kind of a hard one for me because I really didn't even know if I was going to even talk about autism, but I got a little bug in my ear and I decided that maybe we should talk about it. And so anyway,
until next time.
Thank you so much, and over and out, MFers.
Bye.
Bye.